Welcome back to news. That's Business Focus. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, SCV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. And a number of you questioning the issues with the depreciation of the cedi. Now, this is one of three factors that leads to the increase in price of petroleum products at the pumps. The cedi, that's the currency differentials, the price of crude oil on the world market, and also what we have with the taxes and levies on the price buildup. Now, the rate of depreciation of the cedi has slowed as the currency went down by a little above 0.2% to the dollar the whole of last week. Now, but cumulatively, between January to date, we see 14.4%. Now, is the depreciation of the cedi going to slow down as we start this week as well? I've been joined on Zoom quickly. Kojo Lecha is a currency analyst. Kojo, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We saw a depreciation.
Yes, hi, good evening.
The rate of depreciation, the rate of depreciation slowing down a bit the whole of last week. But are you, per your analysis, how is the next week ahead of us going to look like?
So if you look at it, it's basically a cyclical thing. It happens every single year. Just around this time, the bidding interest for the pair and obviously recent sessions has mainly come from local corporates on the back of maturing LCs as well as trade bills. Then we have these multinationals who, at the end of a tax year, would repatriate dividends and revenue to their parent companies. So looking at it, yes, it's cyclical, but then the rate at which the cedi is depreciating is a bit alarming. Just about 8 days into March, the cedi has, first 8 days in March, it has depreciated about 6.61%. Now, just last week, I'm just using last week as an example. On the 8th, after the holidays, the cedi opened roughly at around 7.6 bids and then 7.685 offers. It closed that same day around 7.67 and then around bids and then 7.74 offers. Now, today, which is Monday the 14th, we're having today market opened around 7.87 bid against 7.95 offer. Now, at the end of today, we had market closing cedi dollar around 7.94 and then offers at 7.99. We are at the cusp of crossing the 8.0 mark cedi dollar. So it's quite alarming. It's quite alarming.
So you're saying that beginning today, per the analysis of the data, the cedi to dollar is about 7 cedi 90?
Yeah, so roughly 7 cedi 95, 96, thereabouts on the interbank market. Yes.
On the interbank market, 7 cedis 96 pesos.
Yes, so then it's obviously going to be higher for retail clients.
So with the retail market, the interbank is what the Bank of Ghana is actually then lending to the commercial banks?
No. Interbank is basically transactions between the banks, let's say banks selling currency amongst themselves. You're having transactions, clearing around 7.94, 7.95 levels. And obviously, once a bank gets these funds, they obviously put a margin on it and then offload to their retail clients. So then, yes, off roughly retail rates, corporate rates should be around 7.99, just at the cusp of crossing 8.0 mark. Yeah.
So all things being equal, we are almost crossing the 8 cedis to a dollar mark from the way things are looking now.
Yes. If not, I'm looking at probably, for a firm quote, I'm looking at probably tomorrow by end of day, we should have crossed the 8.0 mark for the cedi dollar. And it's not...
By end of
Go
day
on,
tomorrow.
Yes, by end of day, we are looking at crossing the 8.0 mark. Even with the liquidity supports that the BOG offers to banks, to provide the CD some sort of respite. On Friday, just the past Friday, these funds, just around like $10 million, were offloaded up at around 7.11. And today, liquidity support from the central bank, just around $30 million US dollars. It was offloaded at 7.15. So you can see that there's an increase even in the rate at which BOJ is offering support to the market. Yeah.
It's interesting how you put it, because the interbank ended last week at 7 cedis 22 pesos. And this morning, we're talking about it going to 7 cedis 95 pesos. I mean, clearly, what could have been contributing to this rate of depreciation as we're seeing now? Now that you're saying we're just about some few pesos away from the 8 cedi mark.
Yes. So like I mentioned earlier on, it's cyclical, just that just around this period, you have maturing LCs and trade bills, and then you've got subsidiary companies here who repatriate funds to their parent company. So yes, it's cyclical, just that just around this period, it's this year alone, it's quite alarming. The rate at which the CD is depreciating is quite alarming. Now, what the central government can do is they can, take volumes or the required volumes from these corporate institutions, and then, okay, if let's say a corporate institution needs this set amount of, volume, they would offer that volume at a certain rate. Now, this is what obviously the central bank has been doing, but then the volumes are not enough. We have demand of over 300, in excess of over 300 million, and then the central bank is offloading close to 12 million, 15 million a day. So it's a bit, it's the disparity between the amounts that the corporates need and the amounts that is given by the BOG is quite huge.
Wow. Lecha, thank you so much for this. And at least you've given us the timeline of by close of day tomorrow, all things being equal, the CD dollar may cross the 8 CD mark.
Cross the 8.0, yes.
Kojo, thank you so much for this information. Really appreciate it. That's Kojo Lecha. He is a currency analyst giving us the situation report on the performance of the cedi against the dollar. Now, if you look, in fact, if you check the interbank rates, about 7 cedis 95 pesos thereabout, indeed. Now, he's predicted that by close of day tomorrow, all things being equal, the cedi to dollar may cross the 8 cedi mark. It has its own implications. Let's hear from the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GREDA. They've been talking about how all of this is also impacting on cement prices on the market. That's the situation. Now, I sat with Samuel Amegaibo to talk about this, but take a look at the cement prices as we speak, which went up Friday.
I mean, Miss Mentor, we used to do your demand there. Naka bag, 42, but never buy 46. The Basadia, if I take any man missing for any microphone,
Masons who took building construction contracts last week now have to go back to review the contract. He told the news team the new price increment is taking a toll on them.
If you want why in the budget, if you are last week and last 2 weeks, if you are $100, you say no overcorner no matum. I dare say they be yatum. Obana council on not going to say be away beyond cement. Now they are the be an answer what cotton edins on not beyond cement.
Cement blocks have also been increased. A 6-inch cement block now sells at 4 cedis 70 pesos from 4 cedis last week, while a 5-inch block, which was sold for 3 cedis 50 pesos, now sells at 4 cedis 30 pesos. Price increment has also affected wood products. A visit to Wood Depot in Pokuase revealed a tough situation. Transporting a truckload of wood products from Sampa in the Bono region to Accra, which cost 10,000 cedis, is now 13,000 cedis.
At first, our board was sold 55 cedis and things, but right now it's 65 cedis. So if I should tell you, things are very difficult. Now everything is expensive. Even bamboo right now is 4 cedis.
If prices of building materials continue to go up, it will defeat efforts aimed at bridging the housing deficit, which is in excess of 1.2 million.
Well, so that's how the situation looks like. As at Friday, the prices of building materials had gone up. Now, take a look at this on the screen. Gasem was selling at 47 cedis. Now it's gone up between 54 to 57 Ghana cedis. Jata Cement was selling at 46 cedis. Now gone up between 51 and 53 Ghana cedis. That's what you see on the screen there. Now, the CIMAF, the old price was about 45 cedis. Now it ranges between 51 and 52 Ghana cedis. The Seoul Cement from China, the old price was about 47 cedis. Now it's gone up to between 51 and 53 cedis, depending on where you're buying it from. Diamond Cement also ranged between 45 and 47 Ghana cedis old price. Now it's also gone up by 52 cedis and beyond, depending on where you're buying it from. And Super Sem also up by about 5 to 6 cedis, from 45 Ghana cedis to 51 to 52 Ghana cedis, depending on where you're buying your cement from. That's how the picture looks like. And these prices would differ from one depot to the other. But you're looking at a range of increase from between 5 cedis to 6 to 7 cedis, depending on the location and where you're buying the cement from. But as we speak, prices of not only cement, but other building materials have gone up as at Friday to date. I'm going to go for this quick break. When I come back, Samuel Amegaibo is the Executive Secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GREDA. He joins me in the studio. We'll be back shortly. Those were the price changes that we've seen in the major market drivers. Now, these are not the only cement types that we showed you. Gasem, Jata, Simaf, Seoul Cement, Diamond, and Super Sem. There are a lot more cement types on the market, but the ones we just showed you are the market drivers that dictates the market in this country. Now, to understand the basis for this increase and what has led to it now and how the future looks like for especially people who are building and renting as well, because if you're in this country, you know that when prices of building materials goes up, depending on the landlady or the landlord that you have, that could be passed on to your next rent if you haven't paid your rent already. Samuel Amegaibo is the Executive Secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GREDA. He joins us in the studio. Amegaibo, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening.
Great.
To you too.
So we've seen, I just ran through the Gasem, Jata, Simaf, Seoul Cement, Diamond, and Super Sem. But you indicate that there are more different types of cement on the market. What could have led to this increase, which took effect on Friday?
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity. I happen to be a member of the Cement Monitoring Committee. So in the past, my term has ended anyway, so somebody else has taken over. But before then, I was privy to several reasons why the cement price was going up. And it has been 4 major areas: the exchange rate, general international price hikes, and then oil prices, which result in high cost of freight. and then the effect of COVID generally. So in 2010, when this price hike started, they attributed it to COVID because most of the plants that were producing this products had shut off, or they had reduced their capacity, production capacity. And so the few that were working probably took advantage of the situation and applied the principle of demand and supply, and so they were charging a bit too much. Now things have improved when it comes to COVID, and things were getting better. Then we are now hit with the next action, which has to be crude price. That the cost of crude has gone up, and so free charges have gone up about times 300. If you ask those who are into importation, they'll tell you that the free charge has gone up.
Freight charges at the ports have gone up by about 300%. Within which period?
Within 2010 and now.
Between 2020.
Sorry, 2020.
You mean between 2020 and now, which is within what, a 2-year period?
A 2-year period. But it was more prevalent in this very like 6 months thereabout now.
Between 2020 and now, freight charges have gone up by 300%.
That is what they tell us, the freights. Those who are bringing the materials. We had a meeting with a select committee in Parliament, and the manufacturers were there, we, the users, were there, and that is where most of this information came to the fore.
So for those who are even manufacturing the cement in this country, you still need some imported materials like clinker.
Clinker is the major component of cement, and in Ghana, the amount of clinker we produce is just too small. I'm not sure it even serves 10% of our need, and so we import the clinker. And that is the major problem here.
Which has influenced the prices of freight. So the freight charges that have gone up also impact on the prices of the finished product. That's the cement.
The cement. And then the price on the international market itself has also gone up. That is what I want the people to understand.
I see. Cement prices.
Yeah, the cement price on the international market itself has gone up. I think it is due to the COVID issue and so many things that have come into the production. And then now, you can see clearly that the exchange rate is also not helping at all. I mean, as of December, I think the dollar was $1 to 6.1, 6.2 thereabout during that time. I even exchanged some for 5.8, if I remember. But suddenly, we are at around 7.5 to 7.7 as we speak right now. That is the exchange rate.
So the depreciation of the cedi between January and now is about over 14%. Depreciation of the cedi.
Yes, that is possible.
That is also contributed to what we are experiencing
right now.
You talk about crude oil prices. I mean, if crude oil prices going up on the world market affects almost everything on the market, including cement.
That is it.
How does crude oil prices going up on the world market affect the price of cement?
That is what I was explaining to you, that the freights, the ships that bring this raw material called clinker into the country depend on fuel.
Right.
And then there's this, I don't know whether to call it how do you call it? When this production people get together and want to take some advantage of the situation. We are not too sure what is happening, but there's something about transportation of goods using containers and stuff like that. If those who are importing will tell you that there's some issue with the importation, and so people have to put their forces together before they are able to send certain quantity of materials at a time. And it is all part of, I don't know what is happening. I think some people are just taking advantage of the situation, milking the system and making rich out of the situation that we have right now.
So you'd also say that the lack of systems and structures to regulate the sale of cement in this country could also contribute to the increases we are seeing?
Yeah, it could be, but what can we do when the majority or a higher percentage of the material, the component of the product is heavily dependent on importation? You can't do much. But I have a feeling that if they look at the taxes bit, which I explained, that if there is a component of the tax on this imported materials that are a percentage of the product. So, for example, if a product is being imported into this country at the cost of 100 Ghana cedis,
right, and
government tax on it is say 10%, it means the government is taking 10 cedis, 10 of the 100.
Yes.
If the price has gone up to 150, it means the government is also taking 15 cedis instead of 10. So can we go back and look at the price as of 2020, how much it was, and maybe leave those percentage points taxes
okay
as flat rates, Okay, I think it is one way of looking at the issue and taking off some of the burden. I'm not too sure what the quantum is going to be, but those who are calculating the tax will understand where I'm coming from.
Well, a number of proposals have been made for government to look at cushioning the Ghanaian, which could lead to government itself losing revenue. And in such a time as this, government is looking around to get all the revenue it can get. So all the proposals about cushioning the Ghanaian and these interventions you're talking about, which will lead to, for instance, a reduction in the cement prices, which will then benefit the Ghanaian, it doesn't seem to
sit
be
well with
really
government.
one of the considerations government intends to think about right now.
That is one thing they have to look at.
Absolutely. Well,
if our businesses close up because of some of this effect, government will not get access to the tax anyway. If we shut off our businesses, government is going to lose heavily because businesses are not working. If we are not working, apart from the fact that we cannot pay the tax, most people will also go home. If I have 800 workers on my project and I'm not able to meet the conditions for the current prices in increment and all that, probably half of them will be going home. Well, because the quantum of project will go down. Most people that have signed up with you to get certain products delivered to them may say hold back or something, and it's going to, especially those who are buying property through mortgage. True. The dollar is not friendly at all.
With the mortgage, yes. The dollar price mortgages.
Yes, the mortgages also have taken mortgages in dollars, and especially are in this country and are earning cedis. It means that they need to get more cedis to be able to change the dollar to be able to service the mortgage. But that is going to be very critical.
When we get into the mortgage market, it's another conversation altogether. And honestly, it's something we will concentrate on, because with all these developments, clearly what it means is that those who have taken mortgages are suffering from, one, the depreciation of the cedi, and then other related effects like what is happening to you right now. Because whatever losses that you're going to incur, you will pass it on to us.
Can you imagine somebody who has applied for a mortgage and the processes could take 6 weeks to 3 months, depending on the, to get your application approved? You will be called today to go back and look at the figures again.
It's not looking good. It's not. You know, there was this concern about you pricing your houses in dollars.
Yes.
You are the executive secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Developer Association. So why do you price your houses in dollars? Why?
Well, it is not for nothing that we take this decision. I must be frank with you. No real estate developer in this country is interested in actually collecting your dollars. They are just interested in staying in business. And staying in business, the kind of products we put out on the market, the kind of fluctuations and inflation that hit our products, or the materials that we use. And the example is what we are facing right now. We could start a project and buying cement at 40 Ghana cedis, finish that same project at 65 or 45 or 55. How do I make up for the difference? So this is the reason why we index. We are not interested in your dollars.